wanted to join the Air Force, first of all, service, not only to my country, but also the service opportunities that the military brings, as well as looking into what the military provided, technical experience, educational benefits, and a list of other kind of cool benefits that you get from being in the service. So I was in a couple locations, but I served when I was on active duty, I was at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. Beautiful location for being outdoors, but also kind of in the middle of nowhere. But a really cool place to adventure and be around. And after my time in service, active duty, transferring to the Air National Guard, I've been stationed at Salt Lake City, Utah, Roland R. Wright. It's attached right there to the Salt Lake City airport. My current career field in the Air Force is radar airfield weather systems. Specifically, I work on a early warning and detection radar, but we use high voltage, high frequency power, and we kind of manipulate it in a way that allows us to get information. And being exposed to that level of electronics kind of introduced me to that high-powered, more large-scale type production. And then I was job searching and reading the role about the Mitsubishi, and I didn't really understand at the time the scale that uninterruptible power supplies go to. And then reading further into the Mitsubishi, the field service tech role, it sounded really interesting to see that on such a large scale, because I'm just used to seeing like the smaller office units where you might want to back up a personal computer, but not necessarily a whole data center. That sounded interesting. And then also seeing a field tech position where it wasn't, they weren't advertising working out of a shop or, showing up to a building every day, but that it was, something that seemed like a new adventure every day, and that piqued my interest. So I put in the application, and now I'm here. I gained a lot of technical experience in the Air Force that isn't necessarily one-for-one transfer to Mitsubishi, but a lot of standards and practices of being organized and being self-sufficient and self-motivated as an independent worker have helped a lot transferring into Mitsubishi, as far as keeping myself and my paperwork and my schedule, and sticking to trying to be organized and remember those things when I'm on the job site. There's a heavy emphasis on a real-time experience when it comes to training. Pretty much within the first week, outside of orientation, where we're just getting in process, making sure that we're in with Mitsubishi, we pretty much hit the ground running in the field. Lots of field experience on the job, which actually ends up being really nice when it comes to going through our classroom program, where we're sitting down in a controlled environment, because then we get to take that on-the-job training, that real time, and reinforce what we're learning in the classroom. And it really just opens up that learning and allows us to hit the ground running when it's our time to be independent. The most difficult part of the job is sometimes I might not know what my next week will look like as far as, workflow goes, as different things come up, and, I might have to move from one location to the next. I may not know where I'm going to be at exactly. And sometimes that kind of picks up into a more fast-paced environment. And it also ends up kind of being some of the better aspect of the job, because it keeps things interesting as well. So although I may not be able to take a look and say, oh, I know where I'm going to be next month on this exact date, I also don't have to worry about getting bored. Most rewarding, oftentimes there's a fast-paced environment and there's a lot going on, but then able to look back at my week or the month and see how much I've accomplished or see how much I've done, and know that making an impact in my field or making an impact that's positive for our customers. Having to be on call as a field tech and responding to an emergency. Sometimes, if I have a long work day and then I'm coming home to eat dinner and then I have to get up and go respond to an emergency call, it may seem a little stressful, but then once it's done, it's pretty rewarding. It's a family. I can always rely on somebody else in the field service team. And I think that's the greatest aspect of the way that Mitsubishi's field service team is, because it's definitely a team. It's definitely more of a family as well. In that aspect, I never feel alone where I'm at. I always have somebody to rely on, somebody who's, not just willing to answer me, but willing to help me out or point me in the right direction to get help if I need it. Yeah, I've been able to call technicians that I have never met in person, I'm sure, have only heard of me through, Teams, see me on a Teams meeting or something, but never actually interacted with me. And, first call, they answer right away. It's a good conversation to have if I need help. And I've also been able to help other people in the field. So get to know us Mitsubishi techs and really develop those, interpersonal, professional relationships. Some of the smoothest jobs that I have when it comes to working with the facility managers are when they've spent the time to just talk with other techs and kind of get to know not only the techs and how they work, but also, Mitsubishi's processes. Because then when I come in, or we have another tech that has to come in, they have a better expectation of, how we work, and, the standard that we hold ourselves to, as well as our equipment. Preventative maintenance is a huge responsibility in maintaining the lifespan of the system. When it comes to our equipment, it's engineered and it runs really well, but keeping up with it is just as important as, having the system designed to operate the way that, we have built the machine. It's things like keeping it clean and replacing components to ensure that those components inside of the equipment are going to operate smoothly and as we project them to, is seriously important as far as what our end user or customers going to get as far as the lifespan of our equipment. Attention to detail. When it comes to preventative maintenance, we do our best to keep up with cleanliness or keep up with inspections to ensure that there's nothing abnormal or try to catch something before something else happens. And I would say I pride myself in taking that time to actually clean areas that, nobody else would, maybe think of, outside of our field. But then, taking that time to not only clean it, but to inspect it and know that, when I close everything up, that looking at and what I've done to it will help it keep that reliability. So I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I grew up outside of a small town just east of Las Vegas. And then through right about freshman year of high school, my family moved here to Dallas, and that's where I joined the military from. I am passionate about woodworking. I definitely enjoy spending time in my garage. I kind of like to make custom furniture, so a lot more like from the ground up type building. I enjoy having nice furniture, but I don't like to necessarily go about purchasing nice furniture. So growing up in especially the mountains, I used to go camping a whole lot, and I'd spend a lot of time hiking, and I've been just biking down trails, but I've never actually been mountain biking. So it'd definitely be something I think would be really fun to learn. I love the adrenaline rush. It's a good question. I can't remember who it's by, uh, but it's called A-OK. It's all caps A-OK. Or I would just go to Spotify and hit that, upbeat playlist. Hit shuffle, hit the playlist, hit shuffle, roll the window, keep the windows rolled down and just see where it takes me. It's already controversial. So I don't feel like it's any more controversial for me to say that if tomatoes can be considered a fruit and pineapple's a fruit, then why not just accept it as, a pizza topping? Hmm. Is a Philly cheesesteak a sandwich? I feel like if we just put anything between two buns, call it a sandwich. That is an interesting one. Is oatmeal a soup? I mean, because you can make your oatmeal soupy, but you can't make your cereal more milky. I guess you could. But I do put the cereal first before I pour the milk. I've seen pictures of dog wearing pants, and it's absolutely hilarious when they just have them like on the back half, and then sometimes they'll do like the Halloween costumes. They have the shirt, and so like it'll be like sleeves in the front. Absolutely hilarious. But if we want to get technical, we do say four legs. They're four-legged, creatures, and when they wear shoes on all four of their paws. So we wear pants on two legs, so why not the dogs wear pants on four legs? But for comedic, definitely stick to the two legs. Ah. It's not dry. Water's not dry. Can water be any more watery? If you add water to water, does it make the water any more wet? I can only control my attitude or my outward look on life, and that's definitely, I can't pinpoint you the exact person, and it's definitely been a collection of people that I feel like I've gotten this kind of advice from. But with so much changing, in everybody's life day to day, and so much happening around the world that we see, when it comes to how we react, that obviously we're going to feel emotions, and we're going to be invested, and different people are going to feel differently about different situations. But the attitude that we can project, outwardly from ourselves, is definitely something that we can control. And I'm not trying to say that it's an easy thing to do, but knowing that it's in our control means that we can strive to carry a positive attitude, or control our emotions, negative outlooks, to help kind of encourage other people, or uplift other people around us, especially during more difficult times.